Hello, welcome to this session. I'm going to be talking about PhD moms. So I'll jump right in and just explain to you who a PhD mom is in the context of our study. So we're really talking about anyone who is or has completed a doctoral degree, so not just PhDs. And at the same time are taking on the responsibility for the care of children. So those who are mothers or taking on a mother-like role. So just to give a quick overview of the study itself, we designed and implemented a mixed methods online survey, and it was quite a big survey, so it covered lots of different areas. And so we were really excited to have more than 1,300 participants in and from more than 100 countries. So I've chosen some select results to share with you today, both quantitative and qualitative. So let's jump straight in. So the first finding that I'd like to share with you is that within universities, PhD mums feel the most support from their supervisors. So families and family-like support structures provide the most support, but within institutions, more than peers, more than faculty, more than the institution as a whole, it's the supervisors who provide the strongest feeling of support according to our participants. The other finding that we found from our scale data is that motherhood impacts doctoral education in both positive and negative ways. Often at the same time, it's quite contradictory, but motherhood is often positioned as a liability in academia and in higher education and doctoral education specifically. And we see that that's just not the case. It can be a motivator. It can help develop relationships with other people, but of course, it does come with challenges. Now, these two scales, we decided to correlate the results, and we found that there was a strong correlation, a positive correlation between the two. So what that means is where there's more support, it's more likely that motherhood will have a positive impact or a less negative impact. The interesting thing was that while the PhD mums felt the most supported by their supervisors, our effect sizes showed that it's the institutional and the departmental level support that contributes to whether motherhood has a negative or positive impact on the doctoral journey. So on to our qualitative findings and the first of our 5 themes. So the first is that PhD mums bring to doctoral programs a range of skills and attributes that can benefit the programs, that can benefit doctoral research, the research team and the researcher themselves. So again, while motherhood's often seen as a liability, it really can bring lots of different benefits that should really be acknowledged and harnessed, and they're often ignored. So the next theme is that doctoral research can bring broader benefits to PhD moms themselves, so it works both ways. But also there's a broader benefit to families and communities. So when we think about what is the the goal of higher education and doctoral education, if it is about making stronger communities, then really we should look at the benefits of including PhD mums in our doctoral programs, because so often they are excluded. There are considerable strains placed on PhD mums. You can see here lack of time, exhaustion, constant interruptions to their work. These experiences are highly gendered because we know that the responsibility, the expectations to take on the role of the physical care, the emotional care, the education of children, all of these expectations are disproportionately placed on women and mothers, and we know that this has been exacerbated by the pandemic as well. So our next theme is about the physical and mental impact that navigating these two roles can have on PhD moms, and you can see some of those here. There's a lot of acknowledgement, I think, these days about the mental health challenges of people working in academia and of doctoral researchers. There's a lot of rhetoric from universities about supporting students. There seems to be a sense, at least in hearing a lot of the stories from our participants, that doctoral researchers, deal with it yourself. It's your problem. And finally, the last theme is about the academy and its impact on PhD moms. And the fact is that in many cases, the academy, the structures and the people within those structures don't support PhD moms, and in many cases they exacerbate the problems. Universities actively excluding PhD moms really goes against a lot of the rhetoric that they espouse in, diversity, equity, inclusion, and access to the very various cohorts of individuals who enter doctoral programs. So in terms of what this means for supervisors, we've come up with a few ideas so far. The first is that because supervisors are really an important link to the university and the faculty, it's a good idea to know what supports are available and to advocate for support and services with the understanding that there's a positive return. Doctoral PhD moms have a contribution to make. I think pastoral care is really about knowing the whole person. That doesn't mean, forcing anyone to share their private lives, but to create an environment where they feel comfortable to share if they feel it necessary. There are lots of stories of people, really sad stories of people hiding pregnancies. It should be an exciting time, but worried about when to tell their supervisor. People struggling through miscarriage, struggling through postpartum depression, really struggling and just not wanting to be seen as, complaining or, here we go, the misogyny comes again. Women smile. So, just creating the environment where sharing is possible, I think is one thing that we can all do. The realistic and agreed expectations, I think, is really important. The toxic expectation to give 100% to your doctoral research, that's toxic for everybody. For PhD moms, it's impossible because they're also facing expectations in society to be 100% dedicated to being a mother, and that doesn't add up. And another thing I think is to encourage PhD moms to seek and take support. We have so many people saying that they're alone, and I certainly did feel alone, but then afterwards, actually, I found some really great community online that, would have been really helpful at the time. So I think there are many PhD mums out there who are kind of hiding, not wanting to put their head above the parapet. Okay, so that's my session. I hope I can cut it down to 10 minutes. But thank you. You can follow me if you're on Twitter, and I'll update about the study there. But thank you very much for listening.